This is Support is Sexy, episode 98, with Cahn, founder of ifundwomen.com. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons, and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. Thank you so much for being here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. So today I'm so excited to welcome our guest, Miss Cahn. And Karen is the CEO of ifundwomen.com, which is a crowdfunding platform that is dedicated to women. I love it. You know I'm all about it. Support is sexy. And Karen has created this sexy platform that helps women with crowdfunding, finding out if their projects are ready to go to the next level, getting people to invest in it, telling their stories. It's a fantastic platform. And, you know, if you're thinking about launching a business or you have an idea or you need some support to grow, go to ifundwomen.com and check it out. Easy to sign up, great resources there. And what I think is wonderful about it, in addition to the platform, Karen and her team are really there to support you, which you will find out more about in this episode. So with us today, Karen discusses 5 questions you need to ask yourself about your project to know if you're ready, why crowdfunding is a great way to test your project, why it's all about the FFFs. You'll learn about that in this episode, FFF. Also, what the confident gap for women is and how Karen is working to close it, why men don't have the confidence gap, how to know when someone is not going to invest in your business or project. I thought that was very interesting. Why we need to stop apologizing and people-pleasing as women. Also, being aware of how you process feedback and how that can either hurt you or help you. Also, being aware of how you do yourself a disservice if you don't share your idea with other people out of fear of people stealing it. And I know that's something that I have gone through in the past. I have gotten over it because sharing is so powerful, and depending on how you share it and with whom you share it, there are benefits of sharing your idea to get that feedback. So we go into detail about that. Karen also busts a lot of the myths about crowdfunding. So that's important to hear. Whether you use ifundwomen.com or another platform, these are things that you want to know about. And lastly, Karen talks about how the recent presidential election in the United States has refueled her passion. So great information in here, great strategies, great tips, but also, as I said, a wonderful platform that I am certainly celebrating and will be using. So you'll hear more about that soon. You'll want to check it out. Go to supportissexypodcast.com to get all of the resources and things that Karen mentions in this episode. Find out more information about her and the platform. It'll all be there for you. So I know you're going to enjoy this. Without further ado, Karen. So Karen, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm thrilled to chat with you.
It's great to be here, Elayne. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, the first question. When did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
Oh, man. I fell in love with entrepreneurship when I was working at a big company. And I was working at YouTube. And even though it was a big company, I'd been there long enough that I had the street cred to start sort of a small business within a big company. And I grabbed a partner and we started the branded entertainment group within YouTube, where we married brands and content creators to create these really big deals. And this is back when YouTube was in its sort of infancy, when in the wild west of YouTube, where, you know, brands were just unsure of how to take advantage of it. But we saw an opportunity, and I fell in love with entrepreneurship because I was given the freedom to go and create a totally new business within the safety of the Google. Mm-hmm. But it really made me realize, like, I have what it takes to start a business from scratch, to actually realize that there's a market, understand how to put a business together, and do it on my own. And so that's where I kind of got the bug.
Excellent. Now, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in New York?
No, I'm from a suburb, a very homogenous suburb of Boston. called Canton, Massachusetts.
Canton, okay.
Not much goes on there.
Uh-huh.
It's a place where white people are from. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't been back there since. I mean, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to dog Canton, but it's fine. It shaped my world in a way that I knew it was homogenous from when I was a kid. I knew that everyone looked the same, and that was not right. Like, it just bothered me even from a young age, and I'm white. I just knew that that was not how the world was. And so the minute I graduated, I moved away. And I've lived in lots of places and experienced the world the way I wanted to experience it, which was every color of the rainbow, different languages, different sounds, different smells, different opinions. I thrive off of that.
What do you think it was about you as a young Karen that made you know somehow intuitively that there's a world bigger than this? Because a lot of us are just shaped by, where we grew up and that kind of thing, and we only know what's around us. But clearly there was a part of you that knew there's more out there. Was it a natural curiosity?
I think it was a natural curiosity, and I think it was the music that my parents listened to. So my parents were kind of hippies, and then they were disco freaks. They were like, they're baby boomers. They loved music, and they loved black music and soul music and funk. And, it was always playing in our house. So I think from music, specifically black music, I was exposed to just another world that was probably only a couple towns over, but that was just not represented in my current sphere. So, and I liked it. So it's funny because when I went to the University of Wisconsin, in undergrad, I majored in African American studies. And I know that I did. And I know that was directly related to just my exposure to it from my parents and their activism, and also just their love for music. So I think that's what it was.
And exposure, because you mentioned that, is so powerful, certainly for children, especially because and especially through art, I believe, it opens you up to a whole other world. Now, when you went to school, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do when you get out? Were you planning to go into, I don't know, what were your plans at that time?
Yeah, no, I was a very sort of independent, fun, rah-rah. Like, I was curious about everything. And I was not one of those students who had a plan after college. Mm-hmm. I always just kind of rolled with it. I loved to travel. So after college, I moved to Italy for a year because my senior year of college, I took Italian. And I was like, oh, this is hot. I like this. I'm going to move to Italy, and I'm going to learn more Italian. I'm going to learn to cook. And I'm going to do that. And we had no money. I didn't grow up with money. So, like, in order to do that, I had to work to pay for it. But I'd always worked. Through high school, I'd worked from the time I was 13. Mm-hmm. I mean, every odd job you could think of, I worked. As a short order cook, I worked in a video store. I worked selling sporting equipment. And then in college, I was a waitress. I was a bartender. I mean, I always worked. I always loved to work. I loved having my own money. And so my senior year of college, I was a bartender at a gay bar in Madison, Wisconsin called the Cardinal Bar. I think it's still there. Mm-hmm. And I made a ton of money. And so, yeah. And then I moved to Italy, after college. My dad was like, we just put you through college. You majored in African American studies.
Exactly. Like, what's the plan?
What's the plan? And I was like, there isn't one. It's going to be fine. He's like, all right, you're on your own. I'm like, peace. And so I went off to Italy until I ran out of money. And then I came home and got a job. And that was it. Like, I wasn't a planner. Mm-hmm. I'm like all heart and instinct. So that's sort of what, and I think that the basic sort of, having two parents that love me unconditionally, I don't discount that at all. That is a huge privilege. And just to have that foundation, I think intrinsically I knew that if I went off to Italy or if something happened, I always had my home to come to. And I think just knowing that as a child, for any child, gives them the confidence to go out and explore and be curious and try things and fail and all the things.
Right. There's power.
That is a privilege.
Yes, that's a privilege. And there's power in knowing, just that little part of you that just knows I'm going to be okay because you have that support system there, or you had that growing up. And like you said, that can't be dismissed in any way. That's a big thing for people to know. It's going to be okay. And a lot of kids don't have that.
A lot of kids don't have that. And So if you do have that and you're listening to this, go thank your parent or your grandparent or whoever raised you to give you that confidence, because that is something you cannot buy. And that is something that is hard to get as an adult if you don't have it as a kid, I think. What do you think, Elayne, about that?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, I have very supportive parents, and mine are a little bit older. They had me when they were much older. So a lot of the things that I come to them with now, obviously I'm an adult, but still I'm very close to my parents and mentioning to them ideas about entrepreneurship and things that I want to do and doing an online business. And they're like, what? But I have that feeling. They've always had installed this feeling in me that you're going to be okay. We're here for you, even if we don't understand what the hell you're doing.
Exactly. That's right.
Even if we're terrified that you're not going to be able to, exactly. Even if we're terrified that you're not going to be able to make it, we love you. We're here for you. Try it. You'll be okay. Exactly.
And then in education is the other thing. The education is what is the foundation on which we fall back on.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, were you an only child or you have siblings?
No, I have an older brother, and we're buddies. We're tight, and he lives up in Boston. And yeah, so one sibling. It was a pretty basic, like, if you watch sort of like any 80s movie about like a white suburb, like a nondescript white suburb, that was like my upbringing. I had big hair. I had a perm.
I don't know why I thought of 16 Candles for some reason.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's my favorite movie.
Mine too. I love 16 Candles.
100% my favorite movie. Literally, don't even get me started, Elayne, because I will be quoting
the whole movie. That's so funny. Oh my God. Now, how do you think who you were as a young person has evolved into who you are as an entrepreneur today?
Well, I have always been about women and about the female economy, because knowing how I felt working and making my own money and never having to depend on a man ever, my whole life, even through my marriage and my divorce, I was always the one who was controlling the money. Mm-hmm. And I like that. That is money is power. Money is freedom. Money allows you to do whatever you want. And so my passion has always been about the female economy and inspiring and enabling women to make money for themselves and to not have to depend on another person, whether it's a man, if their partner, parents. I'm very anti spoiling kids. Like, make your kids work. It instills in you self-confidence. It makes you feel good to get a paycheck, and then you can do something, whatever your trade is, whatever your craft is. Doesn't matter what it is. If you can do it successfully, that someone's going to pay you, that feels good.
Right.
So that's what inspires me.
Now, how did you turn all of that passion and inspiration into the company you have today, which I absolutely love, and thank you even for creating it, ifundwomen.com?
So ifundwomen.com is the only crowdfunding platform exclusively designed for women. Mm-hmm. It's a little known fact that only 2 to 6% of venture dollars go to us as women. And this is just such an extreme issue not to do something about. So when you think about it, all of the venture dollars out there and all the everyone's like, oh, women entrepreneurs are getting funded, women in business, there's so much marketing around women. The reality is we still only get about 2% of the money. Mm-hmm. And it's just all marketing bullshit. And so we are doing something about it. The mission of iFund Women is to close the funding gap for female entrepreneurs by giving us a platform just to ourselves to crowdfund for our pilots, our minimum viable products, our ideas, and the goal is to get your idea off the ground. So you've had that feeling where you've been up at night, you have this amazing business idea, you start Googling, you start researching, you start doing spreadsheets, you start doing business plans, and you become obsessed with it. And you're like, I have a business idea. This is a thing. There's a there. So we are a platform to help you at that moment where you've done your research, you've done your due diligence, and there's a there, mm-hmm. and you want to prove it. So crowdfunding is really about proving if your idea is worth having a business around, right?
Right.
Because you're asking the community, your FFFs, your friends, family, followers, colleagues, people in your industry to vote with their dollars on you and your idea. And if you don't make it, you weren't going to make it out in the real world of running a business. It's just like crowdfunding is a great first step to figuring out if this should be a business or not.
A great way to test it out.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
What would you say? You guys launched just November 2nd, right?
Yeah, it was a week ago. We've done $112,000 in funding for our entrepreneurs in 1 week during an election week, Elayne.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thanks. Congrats to the entrepreneurs, because you want to know what? It's them who went out and got the funding. That's the thing. We are busting myths about crowdfunding all over the place. So the biggest myth I think about crowdfunding right now is like, oh, I'm going to put something up on, pick a crowdfunding site, whatever. I'm going to put it up there and all these magical elves are going to fund my thing.
Right.
Like, that's just not how it works. How it works is you have to go out and bust your butt, calling, emailing, posting, begging, panhandling, whatever you need to do to your FFFs to get them to support your dream. And that's how it works. So don't congratulate me. I didn't do anything except for put the platform up. The entrepreneurs went out and busted their butts to get that funding. So I'm proud of them. It's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. Now, how would you say, other than I know the platform is focused on women and empowering women through crowdsourcing, but crowdfunding, how would you say, though, it's different than some of the other platforms that are out there? Because I know you do much more than just saying, hey, you can throw your project up here and see what works.
Yeah. So we do three things very differently. So number one, we address the confidence gap that we women entrepreneurs face with free crowdfunding coaching for anyone who needs it. So whether you're going to end up, on the platform or not, we will talk to you on the phone, a coach. The coach is either me, it's Kate. We're bringing on more coaches. It's a small team of us ladies who have done it. And we will spend time with you on the phone going through your business, your plan, who you think your market is. We will give you tough love and coach you and see if you're ready. Because a lot of women that we talk to, it's not that they're never going to be ready. They're just not ready right now. If they put something up right now, it would fail. And so we give them specific steps to go and do X, Y, and Z, and then come back to us. We'll hold your application, come back to us in 2 to 3 months when you're ready, when you're able to answer these questions.
Okay, I was going to say, and then how do you help them determine the readiness is through a series of questions that you guys as coaches go through with them to help them find out what stage they're in? Exactly.
So basically that goes into number 2, which is we help women tell the story of their businesses through professionally producing their videos for them. So, and right now we're just doing this for free, just because we want to get women going. And we are a video company. We can produce videos really beautifully, really quickly, and we're just doing it for women as a vote of support. So women that are accepted into the program will make their videos for them. And so there's 5 questions that women need to answer in the video. And so with the crowdfunding coaching, we ask those 5 questions. If they can't succinctly answer them, they're not ready. So the questions are, who are you and what's your idea all about? So they say what their idea is. Okay, then it's how big is the market size for this idea? Why should the people care? Like, really, why should they care? The 4th thing is establish your street cred. So, you need to have domain expertise in the field that you're going into. Or if you don't, transferable experience. So, for example, if you're building an app, I want to know that you're an app developer, or you've worked for, an app development company and you've got street cred, or, if you're launching a new fashion line, you need to come from the apparel industry. This is legit entrepreneurs. So you have to establish your street cred. And then the 4th question is exactly how much money do you want to raise and what are you going to do with the money? So you need to be super transparent with your funders about what you're going to do with the money. So like we have one woman on the platform right now. Her name's Maria Valente. She has owned an artisan chocolate shop in Westchester for 10 years, very successful. And she is crowdfunding because she wants to buy a gourmet coffee and chocolate truck in order to do, instead of the ice cream man coming around the park and bugging you when your kids with nasty treats, or she wants to be the gourmet chocolate and coffee truck and go to all the sporting events in her area and service the parents who are sitting there freezing their butts off, watching their kids playing soccer or, whatever. And so she wants to do that. So she needs $75,000 to buy and outfit her truck.
I love that.
I love it too. For those listening in Westchester, you have to go on and fund Chocolations. This is like a great idea.
Chocolations, excellent.
Chocolations. She was just written up in Forbes. So anyway, so for Maria, she is very specifically saying, I need this amount of money to do this thing. And this is what I'm spending it on. And so, that's what we need. So if the answer is, if the entrepreneur can't answer those 5 questions in the coaching session, they're not ready. They need to go back and they have to get, answers to number 2, 3, and 4 right, and then come back to us, and then we'll talk to them again. So that's that. And then the third fundamental way we're different is that we directly reinvest 20% of our fees into campaigns on the site. So we've got a pay it forward model, which creates a virtuous cycle of funding for all of our entrepreneurs. So let's just say someone is raising $100,000 on ifundwomen. Our fee we take is 5%, which is standard. Kickstarter takes the same fee. It's a standard fee. 20% of our 5% gets directly reinvested back into live campaigns on the site.
Mm-hmm. And how do you select them based on almost like a founder's picks kind of thing, the projects that you all want to put that money toward, or is there another way of choosing which projects get that 20%?
Yeah, no, we actually just do it based on data, because all the projects are founders picks. Like, we don't let anyone onto the site that's not going to represent the community well.
Excellent.
So yeah, no, we built a very simple little algo, like through a spreadsheet. Honestly, it's super easy. There's a lot of them out there, which basically looks at the trajectory, the success trajectory of the campaigns, and we put the money on the winners.
Excellent.
So yeah, so the women that are at that cusp of, like, if they had a little bit more, they were going to make it. We put them over the edge.
And I love the pay it forward model. As you mentioned, it's sort of, you ladies are putting your
I say that too, by the way. I'm not giving up you guys.
I always say
there's
you guys.
This whole movement about it.
I know.
Whatever.
I know.
Call people dude.
I
call
do
us
too.
You guys. I can't help it.
We're the same person. I'm glad you're
We're
not
the same
sensitive.
person.
Exactly.
We are the same person.
Like, dude, all the time in text
All the
messages
time.
to all my girlfriends. But I love the pay it forward model, because it's, you're putting your money where your platform is. You're saying, you're encouraging people to invest in these women, and you all are doing it as well. And I love that. That's fantastic. Now, one of the things you mentioned was the confidence gap that you're working to close. How do you describe that, the confidence gap?
Oh man, women have a confidence gap in a lot of areas in our life, and I can't address them all. But the confidence gap is this place in our minds where we've got this great idea, and we're all excited about it. And we've, texted our bestie, and our bestie's like, oh my God, you're brilliant. You should totally do it. And then there's the actually doing it. Then there's that time where we give ourselves every reason why we shouldn't do it. And then we don't do it. Mm-hmm. Right? You know that
right.
gap.
I totally,
I don't
absolutely.
have time. How am I going I'm working 2 jobs. How am I going to do this? I don't know how to make this product. I don't know how, there's 8,000 voices in our head that tell us why we shouldn't do something. That's the confidence gap. Men don't have that. Men don't have that.
And why is that? I mean, not to
nature.
Yeah, have you explained all the workings of the universe? But nature, there's just
nature. I mean, actually, our brains, men and women's brains, are functionally built differently. Where women's synapses are actually longer. So the synapses that attach to the different parts of our brain are longer, and so when women make decisions, we hem and haw. We are like thinking them through. We're thinking. Our synapses are longer, and the decision tree is just like longer and more complex, versus a guy where it's like yes or no. Mm-hmm. So our brains are literally built differently. And it's what you said about, in going back to the idea of funding. I have a friend who is an investor and who works with a lot of companies. And one of the things she mentioned on a panel actually was that with women, when we're pitching, we're more so, we're asking for the money, whereas men are saying, I can't remember how she phrased it much better than I am, but it was sort of like women are sort of begging for the money or asking for the money or almost apologizing for asking, whereas men go in with a different perspective of, this is why you need to invest in me. It's just the way the ask is different. And because, like you said, it's just a different way of thinking. Yeah, we apologize for everything. There was this whole, I think it was like a Pantene, sorry, not sorry, or no more sorry, or whatever, that hashtag. yeah, we apologize for things. We have a confidence gap. It's just, you know, I wasn't born with that chip. I think I was born sort of with more masculine traits in a lot of ways. And so I feel like it's like the Lord's put me on this earth to help women like get over that confidence gap. Like, you can do it. Don't listen to those voices in your head.
And what is one of the main ways that you found that you've had to do that for the women who are going through your program and on the platform? Is it just simply
I get on the phone with them and I yell at them?
There you go. That works.
I literally get on the phone with anybody can call me. I'm not kidding. I know this sounds crazy. I get on the phone with them and I listen to their pitch and I do tough love. And I say, okay, this part was great. This part, no one's going to buy that. You have to redo this. What about this? What about that? And then when they're giving me all their reasons why they shouldn't, I yell at them with love. Because you know what? Somebody told me once, it was funny. I was on a plane and I was flying back from somewhere. And I was sitting next to an older gentleman, very nice. And he was in the pharmaceutical business. He was like, so what are you doing? And this was when I was doing another startup. And I was telling him the idea, and he's like, so, and I said, I went out to Silicon Valley to try to, have some meetings, to try to raise some money. He's like, well, how does it go? How did they go? I said, well, they were first meetings, and the people said that they loved the idea. And he's like, well, they're not going to give you money. I was like, well, what do you mean? They said they love the idea. He said, anybody that tells you in a first meeting they love it is not your friend. People that give you hard feedback and pick it apart and tell you what you don't want to hear are your friend. They care about you. They're actually interested.
Was he right?
Totally right.
Wow.
100% right. Got no money from that trip. $0.
And did that teach you in moving forward with how you receive feedback from people or people's response, help you read it a little bit better?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think, absolutely. I went in, I'm stammering now because you just hit such like a chord. Yes, I completely changed my way of thinking about feedback, which is I always wanted approval from people. I'm like an Aquarius. I'm like the golden retriever of zodiac signs. I'm like, love me, like me. That's how I want people to feel about me and my ideas. I want them to love everything. But when the people don't, and they're like, no, this isn't good, you got to change this, blah, blah, blah. My initial reaction was like to feel personally affronted versus saying like, oh, this person actually thinks I have something here and they care enough to give me the feedback. So just take it and process it and do something about it. So it was a fundamental shift for me.
And now you help other women get through that stage and have a fundamental shift, which is it's very important for part of the business. And sometimes I think it's the thing a lot of us try to ignore that part of ourselves and pretend that it doesn't, I shouldn't say ignore it, pretend that it doesn't play into how we do business. Being super sensitive or not able to receive feedback or not to take action on the feedback. Like you said, having crush us, maybe it'll crush you for a few minutes, but crushing you for the long term can stop you from doing something really incredible. Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing I learned was, with my first startup versus ifundwomen is with my first startup, I was very secretive. I was always worried someone was going to steal my idea. So I didn't talk to anybody in the industry about it. I kept it to myself and my team. And that is just ludicrous. It was such a dumb idea because what I didn't get was feedback from industry, great industry connections that would have given me honest, good feedback and improved my product. And whereas with ifundwomen, before we even launched, I was talking to everybody and anyone I could in the crowdfunding world. What should we do? What do you think about this? And so many things changed and our product is so much better because of it. And we came out winning. We came out on top. So that's the other advice I would have to entrepreneurs. I hear this all the time. Well, I don't want to go talk to my industry because I'm afraid someone's going to steal my idea. I need to patent my idea. First of all, that patents are a whole other conversation. Right. But don't think that way. First of all, no one's going to go steal your idea. And if they do, they're bad karma for them, number one. And number two, you're so much far ahead. It's just not going to, it's just very rare where that happens. So you're being irrational. Right. I'm so glad you shared that. That's such an excellent tip because a lot of us do sort of hold things to ourselves and not want anyone to see until it's quote unquote ready. But as you said, it could be so much further along if you do share it and you never know who's listening as the gentleman on the plane, for example, or who will show up with the feedback that you really need in the moment that could change everything. Absolutely. Talk to as many people
as you can. Get opinions on the look and feel of things. Like, it's funny, like the woman who is on our site, it's funny, like from the minute my staff saw her image, we were like, that's ifundwomen. Like, that's who we are. That's who we are.
The woman on the homepage?
The woman on the homepage.
It's amazing. Everyone, go to ifundwomen.com now. I'll have links, of course, in Karen's show notes, but that image really was captivating. It's obviously the first thing that I saw, and I was like, oh, and I'll tell you, as a Black woman, for me, it might change over time, your image, but for me, it really was like, okay, this is inclusive. This is for everybody. This is something that I can get into, not just because of that image, but really because it just felt like this is embracing everyone. All women. Absolutely.
And that's what I felt. But it's so interesting because I'm a white woman. When I went and asked one of my friends, who's an African-American woman, I was like, what do you think about her? She's like, I hate her. She doesn't represent me. She doesn't represent who I want people to think about my community. I mean, this is a hardcore business lady. Like, she actually was like not happy about it. And I was like, but listen, we want to inspire women who have brilliant ideas and don't think they can do it. We want to show them that they can do it. That's the thing. Like, you've already done it.
Right.
So like, you're looking at, your role models are, heads of state and women that are, billionaires. Like, this woman was a millionaire. So I'm like, this isn't for you. This platform, first of all, isn't for you. This is for the up and coming entrepreneur, the woman who just doesn't think she can do it, but maybe we'll see this picture and think, oh, wait, I can do it.
Right. And maybe, for this woman, obviously, I don't know her, so nothing about her, nothing against her, I should say. But for women like her to see this woman and say that your friend, now that she's, an entrepreneur, you've made it. And look, this is what this platform, the kind of women that this platform suggests. And I will tell you, too, I'm sure there probably was a time when she looked exactly like the woman on your homepage. So,
probably.
You know what I mean? She was in that stage.
Well, she also didn't like her hair. She's like, I don't like her hair. I'm like, you suck.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I'm like, she's gorgeous. I'm like, look at her. Look, I'm like, she has a brilliant idea. That's what that girl has.
Having studied African-American studies, I don't know if you learned about Black women and their hair. We're very sensitive about it. There's a lot of things tied up in hair, not good or bad. There's a lot tied up in it, but yeah. But
I know, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
You can't talk about
it.
Exactly.
That's the whole other beef I got.
Oh gosh. But everyone go look and tell Karen how wonderful the image is, or what you think. I'm sure you're open to feedback.
Yeah,
but also,
no, we do. Tell us what you think. And we also have a video on our splash page. So when you come to ifundwomen.com, for the first time, you'll see a video that just sort of shows all the different kinds of women who should be on the platform. And it's very inclusive. And it's really true. Like, our beta are the 18 projects that we have in our beta. You can't tell this because a business is a business. It doesn't matter like what color, flavor, whatever the entrepreneur is behind it. So you won't notice it from the homepage. But if you click in and you watch the videos of the women, we have lots of women of color, who are part of our beta program.
And ages, too. I noticed that as well. Because Make Love Not Porn, love her, that project.
Love.
Love it. Yes. So, it's definitely a fantastic range. Now, would you say there are projects that so far that you've seen that are performing better than others as far as fundraising? Because I know you have a variety of categories on the site. Are there particular projects or things that people seem to be most interested in right now?
We are seeing a lot of interest. Well, it all comes down to the FFFs and the tribe of the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur that can deliver the tribe delivers the money. So it's interesting. It's not dependent on the category necessarily. Like, family's not more exciting than tech versus media. It's really about, like, Cindy Gallup is out speaking at all these conferences, and she literally tells people to take out their phone, go to iFundWomen, and donate.
I love it.
She's a mad dog. I know. So she's raised, $20,000. So it's about the FFFs. But I will say some of the projects that I think are really worth looking at. One is called Plug-in Pods.
I saw that in the video.
Yeah, that's from this woman named Winona Satcher. She is a landscape architect out of Atlanta, and she is putting together a prototype to repurpose shipping containers into affordable housing and affordable office units. And I just love that project.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because the design for the containers is so cool that it makes me want to have my office in a shipping container. And I'm not just saying that, it's actually really freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
So she's making it very chic to be in affordable housing. So I think that is very cool. I love Make Love Not Porn. I have been a subscriber to Cindy's Scotch Tape Together platform for years. And I'm so excited that she's raising money to have a proper platform that people can really use.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a big believer that the current state of porn is ruining our children's brains. And as a mom of tweens, I am very, very worried about their exposure to modern day hardcore porn.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Cindy's mission of body positive, real bodies, lumps, bumps, and all,
Mm-hmm.
Consensual sex. Because everybody likes porn. Everybody watches porn, whatever, if you are going to admit it or not.
Right.
Everybody watches porn. My kids are going to watch porn. God bless them. I want them to watch porn that shows real bodies in all of our glorious, messy forms.
Right. Consent. And as you said, consensual, enjoying it. Right.
Happy, women in charge, in a positive way, women owning their own pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
all the good things.
I love that. Now, what would you say entrepreneurship overall has taught you about yourself as a woman?
Well, listen, I think that what my career has taught me is that money buys you freedom. So I was smart enough to take a job at Google very early on, and that's where I made my money.
Mm-hmm.
I have had financial freedom my whole life, and I want that for all women. And so I am totally risk averse. I don't care if people don't, I shouldn't say that. I want to retract it. It's not that I don't care. People don't like my ideas. I just feel like I can take risks because I have my financial security to fall back on. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason I feel that I can take risks. And so I want to give that to women. I want women so whether the women are entrepreneurs or whether they're just working their jobs at the companies that they're working at, to me, what drives me is women and their financial security, right? Being able to pay your own way, not relying on someone else to pay your way. And that just takes hard work and work ethic. And that's really my brand. And I Fund Women as a platform for that. That's kind of the manifestation of it. But yeah, I think that's it. I just wrote an article that is hopefully coming out the next couple of days on Forbes, which is about why I think that Trump won the women's vote. He won the women's vote.
I know. Yeah.
He won. And my theory,
white women, rural areas, right outside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, largely white women, but the headline is Trump won the female vote. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And I think my opinion, and this is absolutely my opinion. I am not a statistician. I'm not a data person. I'm not like a exit poll here. But my opinion is that because money gives you freedom and freedom allows you to choose, most women don't have financial freedom. Their finances are dependent on someone else. Listen, I think that in most American households, it's a village, right? Contributing. It's the man, it's the woman, it's the baby daddy. It's where we all are dependent for the most part on multiple people to live, right? Mm-hmm. And I think my theory, again, and I'm not a data person, I'm not an exit poll, I have no real stats on this other than my gut, which is that I think that more women would have voted for Hillary had they been able to make their own choice. And I think that women voted for Trump, a lot of women, because the man in the house voted for Trump, and because they're financially dependent on the man, they're certainly not going to cross their man. Their man is a Trump supporter, they're going to be a Trump supporter because they don't hold the purse strings.
Right, they're going to support him, even Trump, even though he, from what he has said, doesn't support women.
Yeah, no, they push all that aside.
Right.
The rape culture, the groping, the pussy grabbing, that's just like, they're not even thinking about that. They're pushing it aside because their man, their husband, is a Trump supporter. And so they're going with what their man wants.
I know it's been interesting to see all of the theories about why, especially with that segment, like you said, with women, that has happened. And there's so many theories circling around it. And I honestly don't know what to think. I have my own theories. And one of the things is a household votes together kind of thing.
Yes.
Sort of what you just said. Another thing to me is certainly about race, may have played a role in it, or this idea of make America, quote unquote, great again. What does that mean? So there are a lot of it's interesting to see how it's going to come out, how it's going to shake out, I should say. But it's interesting what we were talking about, I think, before we started recording, just how all of this has renewed, as you mentioned this sort of passion for supporting women. So
yes.
I'm hoping this is one of the good things that can come from this. The women who do have power to support other women who maybe aren't thinking with their best interests in mind for whatever reason, whether it's not having independence, as you just mentioned, and you're creating a space for women to have more independence, or my thing is about support and finding ways to support people with creating something in the world that they can. So, I don't know how it's going to shake out, of course, don't know the future, but there has to be something.
And I think the future is going to be fine. Like, I'm not panicking about Trump as a president. I'm mortified. I'm embarrassed. But we chose. I mean, that America voted, and we, I'm not going to be one of these people that's questioning the Electoral College, because you know what, the Electoral College benefited me when Obama got voted in twice. I mean, he's my favorite president ever. So we can't complain when the guy we like is in there. We can't. You know what I mean? We didn't want to revoke the Electoral College then.
Right, when it doesn't go your way, right?
Right, exactly. So I'm not going to complain. I think it's going to be fine. I'm scared to death that he's looking at, Newt Gingrich and Chris Christie and Rudy Giuliani as his crew. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it. I'm horrified and I'm embarrassed. I think it's going to be okay. But for me, what I can control is empowering women to start their businesses and take control of their financial lives. And if I have to be on the phone with women all day long, every day, cheering them on till I'm hoarse in the voice, that's what I'm going to do. So for your listeners, please apply. Mm-hmm. Like, your applications go directly to me.
So tell us about that process. Is it going to ifundwomen.com and then applying? And
Yep. It takes 2 seconds. You go to ifundwomen.com. There's a button that says apply. We ask you a couple of questions. It literally takes, honestly, 3 to 4 minutes. Your application will come directly to me or Kate Anderson, our ops director. We call everybody. Even if your idea stinks, we're going to call you. we're going to talk to you. We're going to give you some coaching, because we genuinely care about you. So apply. Even if you're like, I don't know. Apply. It takes 2 seconds. It's free to apply. And if you get accepted, we will make your pitch video for you for free.
Yes, I love that.
That's a huge, huge, huge burden off of you, because your pitch video and your offering is everything. So please apply. Like, don't wait. You have nothing to lose. It's literally zero. The only thing you have to gain is a hardcore phone call from me.
Right. Tough love from Karen, which I believe we all need after this conversation with you.
Good.
One of the things I meant to ask you, I have just a couple other questions, but one last thing. Do you suggest that women who come on your platform don't go on the other platforms at the same time? In other words, having it be a focused place where people are coming to support their projects, or are these people who can have their projects across multiple platforms?
I mean, I think it's never a good idea to go across multiple platforms, because it's confusing to your funders, your consumer, right? If you're on Indiegogo and you're having success there, then that's great. Stay on Indiegogo. If this is your first time, you're not going to get the level of support from the other platforms and the one-on-one coaching that you're going to get with iFund Women. And also, it feels good to know that part of our fees are going into, we're paying it forward to other women. So I think that, like, if you're a newbie and a first-time person, you definitely should come to iFund Women, because we're going to hold your hand. We're going to make your video for you. You're going to pay it forward. It's going to feel good. We have a Slack channel with all of our entrepreneurs. So we'll be invited into that. So that's where people are sharing like ideas and learning. And we've got this whole community that we're building of entrepreneurs, which is awesome, from all over the country. And we have weekly conference calls where everybody chimes in. And I just got off of one. It's a real like chick fest. It's awesome.
Excellent. Now, in closing, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
It would be my mom. I know that's a super cliche, lame answer.
We love that answer.
But that's my answer. My mom was like, she's the best mom. She just always told me, like, you can do anything, and was super cool and did not judge me for all the mistakes that I made, and was just a great mom. I love my mom. Nance, if you're listening to this, I love you. You're my mentor.
Oh, I love that. Now tell everyone how we can support you. I'll have links to everything, but tell everyone listening so they know where to go for the website and for social media and to find you.
So to find us, simply go to www.ifundwomen.com. We are iFund Women on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Follow us, do all the things, but mostly just go and apply. I mean, that's the thing. Social media is important, but getting your coaching and your video going and getting your business started is the most important. So we'll worry about the social media later. But yes, go and follow us on Facebook especially. We're very active on Facebook.
Excellent.
So, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
I appreciate it too. Thank you so much. It's such a joy to talk to you all around. And I just am so excited to support your project and what you're doing and sending more people there. So when I believe Janaba connected us.
Yes.
When she told me about it and I saw it, I was like, this is fantastic. So again, thank you for creating this, you and your partners, and just what you're doing in the world.
Well, it's our pleasure. We're going to keep doing it.
Excellent. Now, before you go, lastly, a parting piece of advice to you from you to our listeners about anything.
Don't put anything on your credit cards that you can't pay off at the end of the month.
Very good. We'll leave it at that. Excellent.
Well,
Karen, thank you. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And the challenge for you is to take at least one thing. You can always do more than one thing, but take at least one thing and incorporate that into your business today. Take action today. Also, be sure to go to supportissexypodcast.com to get more information about this episode and to see previous interviews that I've done with other fantastic women entrepreneurs. And while you're there, be sure to go to the free resources button so you can see what kind of resources I'm offering to you guys. Right now, it is a 3-part audio training on how to make brave decisions. The decision to do something is sometimes scarier than even the actual doing. So go to supportissexypodcast.com, go to the top, click free resources, and download that free audio training. All right, so thank you so much again for listening. Until next time, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.